Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Arun Singh Thakur from University Institute of Hotel and Tourism Management, Punjab University, Chandigarh. Today we are going to discuss about the module Empowering Community through Tourism from the paper Tourism Planning and Sustainable Development. After completing this module, students, you will be able to understand the meaning and concept of community, understand the concept of tourism from the viewpoint of local community, know about the concept of community empowerment. Then you will be aware about how tourism helps to empower the local communities. So, students, let us start. Tourism has had a close connection with the local communities, particularly as hosts and guides, but the opening up of travel to the mass market from the 1960s propelled the development of the package holidays that in effect taken away the tourist from the local community, with tour leaders from their own country, specialized transport and hotels. The visitors' interaction with their hosts became moderated to the extent where the local community became objectified as a quaint picture opportunity. Yet, as these masses increased their travel experience and learned more about the world from the television, the desire for interaction with local community increased. However, before such interaction can be positively achieved, we need to understand what is not possible as well as what is in terms of meaningful tourists host interaction. Unfortunately, as tourism has grown organically in most places with limited planning, some people have community development through tourism been burnt and they now reject tourism as a viable community asset. On the other hand, many believe that tourism is the answer to everything and the only means for developing their community. Now, understanding the capabilities of tourism so that the correct decisions can be made in terms of community development is what is this module all about. This module examines some of the basic and key concepts related to community empowerment through tourism. Then let us understand the concept of tourism. Tourism is the movement of people traveling around to and living in new places away from their normal atmosphere for not more than one successive year for vacation, business, and other purposes. Tourism is the sum of phenomena and connection rising from a trip and stay of non-residents so that they don't lead to enduring residence and are not linked with any income generating activity. In other words, it can be thought that tourism is a pleasure movement in which the money earned in regular place of work or at home by the tourist is spent in the places visited by him. It is an ever-growing service industry with talent of vast progress potentials and has therefore become one of the vital concerns of not only the nations but also of the worldwide community as a whole. This has come up as a pivotal link in gearing up the bound of socio-economic development world over. It is being judged as a significant tool of economic development. Tourism refers to impermanent traveling of people from their normal place to a new place, and it may be domestic tourism by movement of people within the country, or international tourism in which people move across the borders of the country. Tourism in pure sense is basically desired activity which includes an optional use of time and money. This industry is a mode of transmission of funds from well established countries to low return generating developing nations. Tourism is a main source of earning foreign exchange for not only to the developing countries but also to many developed countries in the world. The employment impact of this industry is spread widely over the national economy. It is a vast labor demanding industry which creates jobs for both unskilled and skilled persons. This generates employment opportunity for local people. Tourism is only an industry which creates 13 indirect employments with every direct employment. This aspect of employment is very important for the developing countries where the level of employment is very low. Their standard of living is also very low as compared to the developed nations. Tourism industry helps to upgrade the quality of life of the locals. Tourism enables the country to transfer the wealth earned from one part to the other part of the country. The concept of modern tourism was natural due to the development of infrastructure and communication network. It was the First World War which has given major setback to this sector. Subsequently, with the end of the Second World War, tourism has developed at a very fast pace. As the world started to settle down after the years of readjustments, there was an extraordinary growth in domestic and intercontinental tourism. The main reason behind this growth was economic, social, and technological factors. Tourism also plays a key role for the improvement of social and cultural understanding. Travel exercises a very healthy impact of international cooperation and lifestyle of the people. According to United Nations Environmental Programme UNEP 2009, there are some problems of tourism such as tourism developed is not oriented on local economic growth. Then tourism development is ignoring social norms of tourism, so that tourism is hopeless to build awareness and community capacity in order to maintaining improved environment quality in their area. Then tourism developments depend on ecosystem integrity. It is not integrated with an effort of conservation and carrying capacity principle application. Then comes tourism developments does not include the local people development and strengthen, including its organization and destination management. Further, we will discuss about the importance of tourism. Tourism has turned out to be the second highest foreign exchange recipient, next only to oil industry. It provides not only foreign exchange but also brings various socio-economic benefits to tourist receiving country. The influence of tourism on the national economy is gradually more important now for the reason that of the budding size of the tourist market. Tourism is an industry like any other industry and has to be planned and developed on scientific lines. To a developing country, tourism industry is an economic bonanza and is treasured attribute to most of the nations. In their search for means by which maximum rates of economic growth can be attained through tourism, and it can be considered as the pivot of the vehicle for economic growth. The importance of tourism as a founder of economic growth is broadly accepted year after years throughout the world, and a massive and growing torrent of investing money continues to pour in its development. International tourism and domestic tourism both have the same effect on national income, as both national and foreign tourism together create national income. Tourism also helps in preventing the national income being hoarded by few, and it leads to redistribution of money among the larger community. Apart from the economic development, tourism also plays an important role in national development. Tourism also interacts with several nation building activities. The national objectives of several nations can be more easily attained if tourism is developed on the healthy lines. It can also assist as an effective instrument for national integration. No other activity has such a great potential for breaking barriers of caste, creed, and motivating linguistic groups to communicate with one another and to promote inter-regional understanding as tourism has. Tourism is also being accepted source of employment, especially for the local communities. The aspect of provision of employment becomes more important in a developing country where the level of unemployment and underemployment tends to be high. Some points of importance of tourism are as: the first is the badly needed foreign exchange can be easily earned from tourism industry. The development of tourism projects a better image of the country and bring it in the light of the world stage, which helps to promote social and political understanding. In many developing countries, governments are dependent for major proportion of their revenues from the tourism industry. Tourism is an effective means of transforming the wealth from developed to underdeveloped areas, thus an instrument for removing the regional disparity of a country. Then further, let us understand what is community. The community is defined as a group of people living together in a particular area and has common culture, traditions, fairs and festivals, etc. A community is also defined as a social group of people that shares common values. A community, by definition, implies individuals with some kind of collective responsibility and the ability to make decisions by representative bodies. A group of network of the persons who are connected objectively to each other by relatively durable social relations that extend beyond immediate genealogical ties and who mutually define that relationship subjectively as important to their social identity and social practice. In various cases, there are farmers, artisans, fishermen, and other tribes living in remote as well as conserved area represents themselves as a community. Then comes what is the relationship between the local people function and sustainable tourism development. The local communities of the famous tourist destinations always remain under severe pressure for protecting their unique selling propositions as a consequence of the development process for the tourism industry. This type of situation arises when the first visitors to the place got attracted from the destination and became the citizen of the place by settling down there. The community will be impacted by tourism development need to decide their course of action, which follows the right and integrated approach for tourism planning and its development on the part of community as well. Many scholars in the past suggested related approach where the government and the community is integrated and community will also take part in the decision making process for the regional management and the development of tourism system. In the past 2 decades, there has been a lot of discussion on sustainable mixing of the concept, but on the real ground, what has happened is also a truth which cannot be ignored. Further, we will know about the concept of community empowerment. Community empowerment has become the buzzword of the 21st century when the communities are enabled to have increased control over their lives is referred to as community empowerment. The group of people which may or may not be connected spatially but they have common interest, identity and concerns are called as the communities. On the basis of their specific or broad interest, the communities can be national, international or local. Empowerment can be defined as the process by which the people can have more powers to control their lives and also have the increased standard of living with equal opportunities. Empowerment refers to the increase in the assets and attributes which lead to have access to the capacities of the individuals in order to gain more control on whether they do. It is also assumed that the people in the community only empowered by themselves after they acquire power in different forms. Here, the role of the external agent is only in the form of a catalyst. So, we can say that empowering community is much more than their participation, involvement and engagement in local projects. That means it implies the ownership of the community and their actions which can even brings social and political change. The truth in the process is that if community is going to be empowered, then there must be somebody who will be losing control at the end, and there is renegotiation of gaining more control. The ultimate solution to the problems in the community, such as health, economical, political, cultural, and social, lies in the empowerment of the community. Globalization in the recent past has also added another dimension in the process of community empowerment. There is a close linkage between the global and the local world, and action on one cannot be ignored to create influence on another. Increased level of education and awareness among the communities play a vital role in ensuring empowerment. The participatory approach in the communication can result in dissemination of the knowledge and awareness in the communities, which need to be empowered for making the world a better place. Then the next we will discuss about the tourism development and community empowerment. The participation of the local community is essential in tourism industry. The basic idea of the community based tourism is that community should be able to anticipate the tourism development in their area, and it is the community leaders which make the development of tourism successful by their involvement. Many communities of successful tourist destinations realized the importance of tourism for bringing in change of their social, cultural, environmental, and economic dimensions. Communities have started using tourism as tool to support their development, specifically economic development, which is a necessary foundation for all other types of development. Community leaders of the area are playing an important role in taking care of the problems arose from tourism development, and also they are concerned for community empowerment and community welfare. The concept of empowerment arises as a vision to provide local community to overcome from the situation of voicelessness and powerlessness condition. The World Bank in 2002 suggested 4 elements of community empowerment. That is, the first is access to information. In this 21st century, the information is considered as important factor in the process of development of the underprivileged communities, because those having sufficient information are in a better position to use the opportunities through easier access and using their rights, for even asking the stakeholders for their responsibility and fix their accountability as well. The second comes the inclusion or participation. The community-based tourism initiatives provide local community a chance to take part in the tourism development, which may be tourism planning or implementation of the action plan. The representatives of community thus put suggestion in the forefront and thereby leading ultimately to the empowerment. Then comes the accountability. There has to be accountability fixed for all the stakeholders responsible to any type of harm or negative impacts to the resources of the area. And the fourth point is the local organization capacity. The community is considered to be empowered when it has the capability to organize big events, develop as team, able to anticipate the problems and have strengthened local organizations. Then we will highlight the ways and means of empowering local communities through tourism. The tourism phenomena helps to empower the local communities by following ways. The first is developing new forms of tourism. Developing new forms of tourism which help in achieving economic benefits of tourism while minimizing economic cost. To boost tourism in particular area, lot of money is invested to conserve the local heritage, to improve the infrastructure, to provide better local facilities, which in return creates better education, then better leisure facilities, then organizing frequent social events, thus a better lifestyle for local people. Then comes the benefits to the local community. Ensuring benefits of tourism are spreading widely amongst the host community. The next point is protecting local business from unfair competition. Protecting the local business from unfair competition from the larger externally owned enterprises is very important for the development of the local community. Then providing employment opportunities for the local people. Providing employment opportunities to local people in tourist facilities and provide proper training to the local staff so that they become capable to work in managerial roles as well as manual roles. Then comes equal employment opportunities. Equal employment opportunities should be given to all the local residents of the destinations, whether men or women. There should not be any discrimination on the basis of sex, age, color, creed, etc. The next is to encourage purchase of local goods and services. Encourage the purchase of local goods and services so that it can directly contribute to economy of local residents. The next is to minimize the economic leakage. The economic leakage from the community should be minimized and benefits from many organizations be given to the local community. It is critical to guarantee however much cash has could reasonably be expected remains inside the host nation. This can be troublesome exercise in careful control since you would prefer not to stop the foreign direct investment as well. Then comes all the stakeholders in tourism being given equal and fair treatment. There should be equal and fair treatment given to all the investors and stakeholders involved in the planning and management of tourism, including operations at the destination. Then equal treatment of the local staff and people. There should not be any discrimination between the local people and the staff working in the organizations. They should be given at par treatment. Then managing tourism in a way that local residents keep up their dignity. At a tourist destination, the tourism should be managed in a way that local residents are able to keep their dignity with them. Then benefits of tourism are generally disseminated among the host group. The benefits of tourism should be distributed in the local residents so that they feel more motivated for the tourism development at the destination in a sustainable manner. Then comes promotion of local culture. There should be proper system in place for the promotion of local culture. For example, dance, cuisine and attire. Ensure that the tourists are taught about the local customs. This also ensure the participation of the local people and also the respect for the culture. Sell local items to tourists using traditional techniques. To increase the economy of the local resident, the local items should be sold out to the tourist in a traditional manner so that they can be aware about the traditional techniques of the local community. Then encourage participation of the tourist in demonstration classes offered by the local people. To encourage the participation of the tourist in the demonstration classes offered by the local people, that will help to promote the culture and contribute to the economy of the local residents. Then educating the tourist about the sustainability. Tourists need to be educated about the concept of sustainability so that the available natural resources be preserved and used in an effective way. Then ensure the visitor knows how to regard the local traditions and customs. To make sure that the visitors know about the local customs and traditions, and they should pay due regards to them so that the emotional sentiments of the local community will not hurt. Then introduce the lowest pay permitted by law, that is livable salary. There should be introduction of the lowest pay permitted by law and a livable salary for the workers engaged in tourism, operation, planning and development. Then reinvest of the profits in resident communities. To reinvest the profits earned by the tourism in local resident communities. Ensure tourist facilities available to both the locals as well as the tourists. To ensure the facilities and the amenities should be available to both the residents as well as the tourists equally. The next point is keep away from the privatization of the beaches, parks and so on. The concept of the privatization of the beaches, parks should be kept away for the uniform development of tourism. So, in the end, let us summarize what we have learned in this module. In the end, we can say that tourism plays a crucial and important role in the empowerment of local communities by creating job opportunities, by enhancing the lifestyle of local people, etc. Tourism acts as prime force for the community empowerment in many destinations of the world. For the sustainable tourism development, it is also very important that community should be aware and empowered. Empowerment process done by community is hopefully forming them become dependent people having an ability to take decision and implementing all decisions individually or in a group in utilizing local resources to improve their welfare. Empowerment is a step-by-step process and it is the responsibility of the government, local people or leader of the community and non-governmental organizations to play their respective role. Thank you.